Hi guys, it's Parissa. I'm really excited about today's interview that I'm having with Lisa Panton. She is an elite distributor in our and leading basically Europe, and I'm so excited to have her basically come on and share with us her experience. She's been in the industry for 8 years, so I'm totally excited. Let me just invite her here. Let's see if she will get the notification. Okay. I'm here, she's on, so I'm just going to see, it says bring them on camera. There, add to join. Okay, she's so if you guys get your paper and pens, if you guys are in this industry, she's going to give you some great nuggets that you got one here. So just bring her on. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, so I joined on my phone and it worked.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Like you're everywhere. I see you traveling like every weekend. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
And doing all these seminars. So I really appreciate it.
Let me just turn off this
And I
computer.
think if you guys are jumping on, please let us know if you can hear us well. Just let us know where you're watching from, just so we can make sure that, sometimes Facebook is weird and we can't, I don't know if sometimes the volume's there. I've done full lives and the volume wasn't even there. It's so frustrating.
Oh, I've done an entire
So
webinar before now and forgot to turn my volume on.
that's what
Awesome.
I know.
I know
So
you.
thank you.
Hey.
Thank you. So basically, yeah, I just wanted to, I asked you to come on because I wanted people to hear about your experience. You've been in the industry for 8 years, and now you've reached the elite ranks, and you have so much knowledge. And I think that your story is amazing. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. So tell us about your background a little bit. How did you get into network marketing?
I guess it's my dad's fault ultimately, which sounds crazy. My dad was in the Royal Navy. He was on the Royal, which is very famous British Navy ship. And he left there. He became a probation officer. He was a social worker. He hated the part of what separated, and so he became part of a
Your connection's a little bit weak, it seems like, because it's cutting out a little bit.
Oh, it is. See if there's something
A little bit.
do. One sec. And if I come out, okay.
Hey, Karen, nice to have you on here. She does live in UK, and her reception where she lives is not the best. So we're hoping that this will work. She's at home. Obviously, it's later there in the evening, so she's at home. And yeah, so she's like worked with amazing people in this industry, like Rachel Jack. Like they say, like surround yourself with people that you want to be like. So I am so privileged to have Lisa as one of our top leaders in our group, along with like Rachel and Tara. Like they have taught me so much in the last year just alone, and just the personal growth itself has been amazing. At the same time, just the personal growth has been amazing, but at the same time, it's just been the business aspect of it. Just it's so awesome, and she's a tough cookie. She's taught me a lot, so I really hope that this live will work and you guys can hear what she says. I said approve. They'll receive an invite. Yes. No answer from the live guest. Try now. Okay. Let's see. Clear request, and then we'll add again. This should hopefully work. Do you see the I guess I don't know, do you see the invite? I think it dropped your internet. You've already been invited, so I don't think I can add you again. Oh, Facebook Lives. I don't know. Once you've already sent the request, it doesn't let you send again. So add use. I'm trying to. Oh, okay, there we go. Lisa, I just sent again. Hopefully you'll get it this time. Let's see. I cleared it and then sent it again. So, hi, Shauna. So, another amazing, amazing leader. Love hearing you at the conferences. It says adding, so she's coming on. So we're having a conference actually in a few weeks, so I'm excited to learn again from additional leaders. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, hopefully
I'm like, I don't.
be better now because I nipped away to swap connections.
So you went somewhere else, or?
No, I just changed my internet from mobile to landline.
Okay. All right. So you were just kind of giving us a background about how you kind of got started with network marketing and how you were in corporate. So I just curious to see how you ended up here.
Yeah, so I was telling you the story of my dad, right? That he was in the
Yes.
Navy and then he was in social work and then he hated that side and he went into family therapy and then he was actually head of child protection for our local, what you guys would call a borough, I think, in our local area. But you know, that job taxed my dad so a lot. Like it was a lot of stress, a lot of emotional burden of the type of things that he had to face. And I watched my dad work a job that he didn't particularly, that wasn't his passion. Like he loved to run and he loved photography. And I watched him work hard, you know, all his life. As long as I could see him, my dad was a worker. He was always working. And we were a very family. It's not like we didn't really have, but we never went on far, you know, holidays abroad. We were lucky if we went on a holiday in the UK somewhere, and so we were always just getting by. And I don't know why, but that was very apparent to me growing up. Like I noticed that. I was aware of that even at a very young age for some reason. And so finally, my dad time at the age of 50, and because he wanted to have life. He didn't want to just get up to go to work to pay the bills. He wanted to enjoy the things that he wanted out of life. He loved to run in the mountains up in Scotland, fell runner or cross country, you guys might call it. And he loved photography. And so he retired at 52, at 50 years old. And at the age of 50, and I remember clearly after I got my qualifications, I went away to work on cruise ships for about 12. Well, I worked for that company for 12 years. I did about 7 years at sea. I was doing really well. And I remember coming home for a short couple of months vacation back to the UK. And my dad saying to me very clearly, if you can find a way to make a living without having a job, I encourage you to find that and do that. And I was probably about 21, 23 at the time. And I've never forgot, you know, my dad took me everywhere. He took me to gymnastics every 3 times a week. He took me to every horse show. He picked me up and took me to the stables twice a day sometimes. We had so many conversations in the time that he was with us. And that's the only real one I remember. And I don't know why. I don't know why. It makes me
Mm-hmm.
emotional to think about it. And those words have stuck with me my entire life. Those
That's
words have stuck
amazing.
with me
Yeah.
my entire life. And so I remember he said that to me, and it kind of stuck with me for a bit. And I was like, well, oh, he said, as long as it's not immoral. If you can find a way to make a living
That's
without having a job, as long as it's not immoral. And I remember thinking to myself, well, damn, how do you do that? Like, what would I do? How would you do that? And it was like a conundrum, like a something I was always thinking about. God bless him for dropping that line on me all that time ago.
Did you ever tell
So,
him that made such a big difference for you? That line? Did you
wow.
get a chance to tell him?
Let me tell you. So at 52, 2 years after working all his life, working to pay the bills and not really getting to do a whole lot of what he enjoyed because he was raising family and whatever else. He came home. He ran 10 miles every day, my dad. And he came home from a run one day, ran a bath, and died suddenly of heart failure
Oh my God.
at
I'm sorry, I didn't know
52.
that story.
At
Wow.
52
Just when
years
you
old.
retired.
And he was an
Oh, I
athlete.
just got shivers.
Um, so I never got. Why did you ask me that? No, I never got to
I'm
tell
sorry,
him.
I didn't know. Yes.
I never got to tell him. Well, hopefully he knows now, but
Oh, he
I
hears
think
you. You're making him very
so.
proud.
So hey, listen, I'm sad. Uh, that those words inspired me all my life. I was always thinking about how do you do that, or that sounds like a great idea. And I did at the time, but I was thinking, I was just driving about 2 days ago, and I was thinking, wow, that was my dad sharing his wisdom of his own life with me and trying to help me make my life better. Right? Oh, so
Wow. Oh my God, you're making me cry.
you asked me how I ended up in this industry and how I ended up here. And I think that's why, because my whole life I was searching because I hated having a job. I hated.
Mhm. You froze. It's gonna come back though, hopefully. I was not expecting that. I did not hear that. There you go. Hello?
So I think about that when I worked, I hated having a job. I hated having a job. I hated.
Can you hear me?
Can you put your airplane mode on? Sorry, it's because I had to come onto the mobile, and so I and leaving my kids in childcare at 7 a.m. every morning. I hated having to pick them up
Hmm.
at 6 p.m., be stuck on the motorway, half an hour late. The kids be the last one sat on the floor, like, because mom's late again. I hated all of that. I hated being told what to do. I hated being got promotions because they're fake.
Oh, the connection keeps breaking out, unfortunately.
And I was more experienced, more able, more qualified. Like, I hated that ish.
Yeah, for sure. It's yeah, because
Yeah.
you that this is the time when you actually are spending time with them. But once they're older, they're going to be out of the house and gone. So you want to be able to enjoy the kids, right? So yeah, for sure.
And I had
So
this
you've
this
worked in
thing, like this
yeah.
sentence running around in my head this whole time. Like, and I used to wake up in the middle of the night and ask myself, I used to say to myself, I cannot, I was working all those hours, like 40 hours plus, well, 60 if you including commuting, time away in conference and all that other stuff that you do that you don't get paid for. And
Yes.
I used to think to myself, I used to wake up actually in the middle of the night. And I used to say to myself, there is no way I could be put on earth to get up, to go to work, and there never be anything left at the end of the month for anything else. There's no way one life to do this. And unfortunately,
For sure.
that's the
And you
life
were
of
making
the
good
average
money.
individual. That's the life of the average
That's
individual.
right. You were making good money, but you just didn't like the lifestyle, right? Like you just didn't want that for the rest of your life.
Not really. I mean, some people would consider my job was as a pharmaceutical, well, a medical sales rep. Some people would consider a good job, healthcare, pension, company car, 35, 40K a year. Like, to some people that was good, but there was no money left. If the wash broke down, it was a financial crisis. If the central heating broke down, it was a financial crisis. So yeah, we were getting by. We were getting by, and that's about it. But I wanted more for my life. I wanted to travel. I wanted to go places. I wanted to give my kids more. I wanted them to travel. I wanted them to have more. And so there was just no way to do that. And the average person, that is the life we've been.
I touched the screen like as if it's going to bring her internet back. It's hilarious. Like
Get the job.
every time she goes.
They always freeze in the ugly pictures, right? So yeah, like that's what the average person is taught to do, and that is what the average person believes is the traditional model to live your life. Why? Because who told you? Who told us that is the way to do it when there are other ways? But it's so hard for people to see it when that's all you've been told all your life. So
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Go to school, get an education, get a good job.
Yeah, working to pay the bills. Like, still go to school, still get your education. We all need that. But it doesn't mean that you can't be successful if you don't have that. And there are other ways than just working the rat race to earn a living. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, so you didn't, obviously our company is like, you know, newer. So when you started this business and went into network marketing, you started somewhere else. Tell me a little bit about kind of how that went. And what was your experience there? And you just got into this industry. Kind of tell us about that, and then what you've learned from it, and now you brought to this, our company.
So, yeah, so that's 8 years ago now. My first 18 months, I was in, I think, 3 companies before where I am now. My first company, I was there for 18 months. I made $120 in 18 months, which is ridiculous because I see people in our company that have made way more than that in way less period of time. And they say, oh, I'm struggling. I'm like, dude, I made $120 in my first 18 months. And I was still there like 18 months later, learning, finding a way. So it took some time initially just to get my head around the different ways of working in network marketing is different to the ways of working in traditional or sales or, the way that I was taught to do business in other places. So there was that. There was being coachable, losing my ego, getting around the right people, finding the right company, finding the right mentorship. And so I think 3 years in, I joined the company where I saw my first real success. And from joining that company to in 6 months, I built a business that was creating a 6-figure income. And so a lot of people, all they see is, oh gosh, Lisa Panton, 6 months to success. No, there was 3 years of pain, struggle, learning before that.
Wow.
And so it took time. And I'm not saying that people can't come in and do it quickly, because but it was 3 years of learning, growth, finding the right.
I guess it's also about the systems that's put in place with the company that you joined. So like, because you have such amazing, strong leaders now in this company, and especially in our group, we have this amazing system. So people that are joining, if they have the right mindset, they're able to like quickly jump on and be able to be successful in less amount of time. But like, I'm not sure about the company you joined initially, like how much support you had, what kind of leaders you had. But definitely personal growth is a huge thing, because I have found that in my last year, I had to go through a big personal growth personally, and you have to be in the right mindset to be able to push, like, and be consistent and keep continuing. Because yes, it's hard when you continually try, let's say, and you don't get results. You can't just beat yourself down and be like, oh, I'm not good at this. Like, look at you, 18 months, and you just made what, $120, and you still kept going. Can you imagine if you had stopped? So yeah, for sure. And you were frozen, so I'm not sure if you were hearing anything I'm saying. But yeah, guys, like, you can't like give up just a few, for a few months, 6 months, or with the company that you are doing. It doesn't mean that, like, you're going to be, you may have to change the company to be successful. Maybe it wasn't the right leadership, or maybe it wasn't the right product. And I lost her, so she'll come back. Let me see if I can invite her again. Invite. Lisa's already. You guys are getting some amazing nuggets here. She is an amazing leader. Add me back. I will try. So request to be there.
Oh,
Awesome.
I don't know what is going on with this Wi-Fi, girl.
That's okay. I know it's a shame, but you have your. I mean, you're saying such amazing stuff, and I don't want to give up on it. Just keep going. But I don't know
Yeah,
if you heard
no,
what I was
it's cool.
saying. Did you? I was just saying that, like, it's amazing that you still stuck to it for 18 months. And even though you just made $120 in 18 months, like most people would have quit after 3, 4 months. So
Yeah.
it's about your drive, your why, your passion of why you want to do this. And at the same time, just like pushing, like, and the leadership, like, surrounding yourself with people that support you. If you're not going to get it,
Yeah.
let's say, hopefully you do in your family, then find friends and leaders to support you and just keep going along this journey with you.
Well, your friends can't help you and support you in a business that they don't know how to build themselves. So yes, friends should and not always there to support you.
Yes.
But what's really important and what really changed it for me is that when I joined that company 3 years in, is that I sought out an upline. I specifically sought out somebody who had a lot of success in the industry. They'd made $4 million in 4 years. And I was like, now that's the type of people that I need to connect with. Those are the type of people that I need to learn from. And so it was just being brave enough. Sorry, I've got a little cough, and when I talk, it irritates it. So I reached out, and it was 2 years later we started working together.
For sure. Yeah. I'm just having mine too. So I mean, you're like leading, you're leading UK. It's a huge opportunity right now for you. You are well, you started this company in in Europe, and then now you're leading Europe, is what I meant to say, not UK, sorry, and all the countries. So like, how fast, like, I don't know exactly, like, how many countries have you opened last year? And tell us a little bit about the opportunity there. And the same goes for Canada. We're very new in Canada too, so
yeah,
I think it's a kind of the same kind of opportunity right now too. So I'm really glad for my Canadian friends to hear this too.
Yeah, so there was a few reasons why we chose this particular company that we work with now when we did decide to come here. 3 years ago now, I can't believe it. Nearly 3 years ago. And one of them was, so there was some other really strong reasons, but one of those 4 reasons, particularly why we chose here when we were looked at all the top 12, 20 companies that are out there, and all the new opportunities and everything that was going around, is we didn't want a startup. I'm so sick of hearing, ground floor opportunity. Like, no, like, take it away from me. It's too much risk. It's too much stress. Yes, there's a lot of reward, but man, there's a lot of risk and pain and heartache that goes with that. So we weren't looking for a startup. We were looking for something that was already product was proven, compensation plan was proven, business model was proven, people already making good business and income with the compensation plan. But at the same time, we didn't want a company that was 30 years old and already established everywhere globally yet either. So it's about finding something in
That's
the
right.
middle. And, you know, when we looked at this particular company, they were 200 million a year. They were publicly traded, financially stable. There was a lot of people that had already done really well from a business perspective. The product was not only proven in terms of usage and taken, but it had masses of clinical studies proving that it did what it did. So we had proven product, proven compensation plan, proven business model, but global expansion still to go. I mean, they're making 200 million mainly just through the US. So, you know, I look at places like Canada, and on the west coast of Canada, you know, there's a little bit going of Canada, like all the way up. It's open season, and there's so much growth and opportunity to build business there. It's unbelievable. So Europe, we
Sorry, you got cut out there, Lisa. You were saying the West Coast has a good establishment right now, but from the East Coast and to Ontario, it's not as much, right?
Like
Is
the
that what
East
you're
Coast
saying?
all the way up from the Canadian coastline and that area,
Yeah.
you know, Ontario and up even Montreal and you know, Quebec and all those areas. There's you know, there's so much room for growth in those areas. And then you look at the fact
Definitely.
that Europe, we launched the UK, the Netherlands, Germany, Austria just recently opened. This year we're going to open Spain, Ireland, and three other more European countries. And in the and probably in the next 5 years, you know, we can't say for sure. In fact, I haven't mentioned our company's name, so it doesn't matter. I'm thinking about, because we're publicly traded, we have to be careful about what we say.
Yes.
Is that we'll probably be open in the whole of Europe within the next 5 years. And that is huge opportunity. You know, the fact that I can sit on the corner of my bed on my breakfast bar at home and be building a business in 10, 15, 20 countries from my computer is insane. And not even on your own. Like, we're talking, you're in Canada, I'm here in Yorkshire in the UK, and we're able to personally chat almost face to face nowadays. You can have personal relationships, really close connections with people you've never even met in person anymore. You can train people. You can share information with people like you're sat next to them all over the world. It's incredible.
It is incredible. Like it, and you get to know them, and the training is amazing. I love your training. You're really organized. I love it. We're really lucky in this, because in this time of to be doing this, like you say, with the technology that's available, for sure. So
yeah. I look at other companies with other products, and I think, oh my gosh, if they can do what they've done with that product, I don't even want to think about what we're going to do with what we have. Like, it's insane to even think about.
It is. It's very exciting times, that's for sure. So, so you were just, so is that those are the reasons why you chose to work with this company in particular, right?
Yeah,
yeah. But
for sure. Well, there's a few other, but that was one of them. Opportunity available was definitely one of them.
For sure. And I personally, like, definitely was excited about the fact that it was newer in Ontario and Canada, and that excited me because when I heard what the product was, I'm like, how can I not share this? I need to share this with everybody that I know, all my friends, and then beyond that, like, that really excited me, just because of the significance of what this product can do. So that was just pretty amazing. And then I wanted to ask, like, with the like, obviously, you worked with like amazing leaders, like we were talking about Rachel Jackson, and I was saying that in the beginning of the call before you were joining, and Like, so if you had to pick three things that you stood out in your journey being a network, in network marketing, what would stand out? Whether it was a course, whether it was a book you read that you thought, oh my God, this was like kind of life changing for me. Now, that being said, doesn't mean just because it was life changing for Lisa, it will be for other people. Because, like
Yeah,
every person has their own aha
journey.
moment at a different time. But it's always nice to share. Like, you might read a book and think it's amazing, but then someone else reads the same book. They don't have the same impact on that person
Yeah.
because of their life experiences. But I wanted to ask you that.
Well, one of them was something that nobody would have access to because it doesn't exist anymore. But one of them was a course, and it was actually where I met Rachel, this course. And it was my first real experience for somebody talking about the law of attraction, and that we're working every day in a default mode, living in a default pattern. And it was the first time I'd ever really heard anybody talking about expand your mind, think out of the box. You can create so much more for yourself if you start thinking differently. And so I guess it was that. And so I think one particular book that I have seen that started changing everything for me, and it's a golden oldie, and I've
Hmm.
seen so many other people's lives change if they're brave enough to just believe what that stuff is telling you, and that is Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
that book. I mean, The Secret is the simple version of it, but
I have it.
Think
I just don't
and
know where it
Grow
is.
Rich is
Yeah.
is just, it was one of the books that was a pivotal moment for me, and it changed everything moving forward. The way that I thought, the way that I, yeah,
Think
basically
and
the
Grow
way that I
Rich.
started to think was
John
different.
Maxwell. Yeah.
No, that's Napoleon Hill.
Oh, Napoleon Hill. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Sorry. Yes.
So that
So,
probably
and
was
you know
was
what?
one.
I got goosebumps when you just told me you met Rachel there. It's like you were meant to be there. That's
Yeah, on
crazy.
that course. Yeah, that's how we met. She was providing some video blogging course, and she was hilarious. So I was like following her from that. So that was one. Think and Grow Rich was one. The second thing has to be finding a good mentor. Find somebody who has what you want and has the time to show you what they did to get there. That has to be the second. And I would say if I had to pick a third, it would be constantly being plugged into uh, continuous personal development and growth, whether it be books, whether it be going for walks with the dog with an audio book, whether it be mucking out the stables, listening to personal development while I'm doing it, whether it be going to events, whether it be investing in money to go to UPW, Tony Robbins UPW, or investing money to go into the company convention in the US on a regular basis because I needed to clean my brain and get fresh motivation and information in there.
Definitely. It's got to be,
I would
you
say
got to
that
keep
that
replenishing for sure.
yeah, the first thing is really just resetting the way you think, because we're programmed for default living. The system, the rat race, we're programmed for it, and we wake up every morning and fall into that system. And number one, you got to start thinking differently, because 5% of the world's wealth, no, 95% of the world's wealth is created by 5% of the population. 95%
Hmm.
of the world's wealth is created by 5% of the population that are not thinking like everybody else. So
Yeah.
you got to start thinking differently, right? Number one, that
If
was
you
it.
have
Think
that
and Grow Rich.
desire in you, you want something different, change it up. Yeah, for sure. You got to change up your mindset. Go and, you gotta go for it too. Like, just some
Yeah,
people are very perfectionist and that holds them back. Like, you have to kind of just do it. Like today, like, I wasn't sure if my live was gonna work. Like, we were, we kind of like had, but we still did it. You know what I mean? If I had to keep waiting
yeah,
for it to be perfect,
yeah.
it's gonna be like another 3 4 months. How many people, could have seen this live in the
Yeah.
meantime and we could have
So
helped, right?
yeah, valid, because the law of attraction's powerful, but it's not. It's only powerful if you add the law of action in with it. So you can't just sit and think about this stuff. Occasionally, if you're really good at it, that stuff does work. But um, there's action. You've got to take understand that way of thinking, but then you've got to also be brave enough to go out and take full on action you know, to make it happen no matter what. And one of the other things I think really helped was I didn't care what people thought. I didn't care what people said. I just put my blinkers on and was completely focused on where we were going. And, you know, how glad am I that I never listened to somebody else, because I would have never been or achieved what we have now if I had. And that would be really sad.
And none of us would be here either. Right?
I wouldn't know you. I wouldn't know Melina. I wouldn't know so many. Like, we have thousands of people in our team. I wouldn't know any of those people. Oh, for sure. Gosh, yeah, right? Amazing.
That's right. Yesterday, I was listening to a call, our team call, and Tanis was saying the law of inertia. And it's true. If something is still, it's going to remain still. So you have to get moving. And then it's like once it's in action, movement, and it's moving, then it's going to stay moving, kind of, but you have to keep putting into it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, that's, it's funny that you brought that up.
I am a big believer of one thing, and I say it over and over and over and over and over again. It doesn't matter your background, your experience, or your skill set in this industry. In corporate world, it's everything, right? It's everything. Yes. But in this industry, your experience, your background, your skill set, your education level, it doesn't matter. But one thing that does matter is hard work. And I truly, and to the bottom of my heart, believe hard work never goes unpaid. So you can go out and you can bust your butt. I'm sorry, because I don't know all your audience, but my audience know me and they know what I'm like. But you can go out and bust your butt all day and feel frustrated because you don't feel results. But how I've learned to understand it is those results don't always come from where you put in the work in. They come from somewhere else. So hard work never goes unpaid. I'll give you an example. I'll never forget, one day sat on my drive and I had to go to Liverpool, which is about an hour and a half away from here, depending on traffic. And it was a Sunday afternoon, and the last thing that I wanted to do, I remember getting in my car, my drive, and thinking, oh my gosh, should I just call and cancel? And I'm like, no, you gotta go. And I remember getting halfway down the motorway to the meeting, and the girl who was organizing the meeting, Kelly, hey Kelly, if you're listening to this, she called me and she's like, oh, everybody's canceled. There's only like 3 or 4 people coming. You know, I don't want to waste your time. I said, well, tough luck. I'm already on the motorway. I'm already on my way there. We'll just do it. I don't care. If there's 2 people that are there, we're just going to do the meeting anyway. And so we did. I went to that meeting that day, and we met this one person who completely blew up that business. One of those people that arrived late, like after we finished the presentation, was one person, and that person made a massive difference in her business. And I got home that night, I pulled on my drive, and as I pulled on my drive and turned off my engine, I got a phone call from somebody that had been out of the loop for a while saying, right, okay, I'm ready to come to work and do business. And that's what I mean. Like, I went all the way there and pushed myself at the point when you say to yourself, shall I just not make that call? Shall I just not go in today? Shall I just not do my work today? And at that point, when you push through and say, yes, do it, now's especially the time when I should do it, crazy stuff starts to happen. Crazy stuff starts to happen. And things start coming out of nowhere. Hard work never goes unpaid. Karen's laughing at motorway, not motorway, motorway. It's a British thing. It's like a highway.
And yes, Karen, I am drinking my Axial. She was asking me. Oh my God, totally. Oh my God, Lisa, I've seen that so many times too. Like when you don't want to do it and you push yourself and you do it, and that's when you need to know. So like, we were doing a challenge for lives, and that evening I was so, did she freeze? No. Oh, you're there. I didn't want to do a live. I was really tired, but I was like, let me do this live. And I pushed myself to do it. We even had guests at our house and sacrifices. You know, I went in the room and I did it in the room quite quietly and came out. Well, that live made me have an amazing connection. Someone reached out to me, which is now like it's an amazing contact where I'm excited about what's going to come, and I'll share like in the future about what happened. But it was just kind of getting me in front of the audience that I want to get in front of. So it's just it works, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
about sacrifices. Like, what did you? Someone had to ask you, and this is like, like what did you have to sacrifice in your life to like kind of achieve where you are at? I'm sure you had to make some sacrifices. So I was curious about that. Share with us.
Like a two-sided sword answer. So I believe in,
You're kind of cutting out now. I'm not sure if you're still there, but if you're talking, I can't hear you. It's frozen. No. I mean, I have to invite him
I'm
again.
back. I'm
Oh,
here. I'm here.
Lisa, you were frozen for a while, so I didn't hear. If you were answering the question, we
I
didn't hear you.
wasn't. I can tell when it goes like
Okay.
that. Did I have a real ugly face
Okay.
when it froze? It always
I'm
freezes
not
on
gonna
the ugly
comment.
face.
It's okay. It was good.
So, so I always believe in being very transparent and very authentic in everything that I do. Because one thing in this industry is there's a lot of unrealistic expectations and hype thrown around. And I want to be completely different to that. I want to be very real. I want to keep the dream alive, but I want to be realistic about what it's going to take to make it happen. That's who I am, and that's how I work. In terms of sacrifice, I sacrificed more than the average person is usually willing to, is the honest truth. Everything, because you got to understand, I was at the point where I cannot get up and do this job anymore. Like, I'm done. I cannot, like, I used to get up, look at my bed, and think all I want to do is dive back under the duvet. Like, I can't bear to go even to have another conversation. And so I was desperately trying to find another way. I was desperately trying to find another way. So when I came to the point where enough is enough, things have got to change, I was 100% ready to make it happen. And there was, within reason, I wouldn't have sold one of my kids or anything like that, but I would have done anything within reason to make it happen. Okay? And so I made massive sacrifices. Tidy the house, the dishes weren't washed, tea wasn't cooked, the kids were, my daughter was looking after my newborn baby at times because mommy was on a call, and I spent a whole 2 years like that, right? Which sounds a lot, 2 years, but those 2 years have bought me 5 years of freedom. So I went out and I went full tilt, out of balance in work mode. And I shared with my kids, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, and this is what we get out of it. And they were on board. They were like, go do it. Like, if it means we can have better holidays and we can go do this other stuff and we can have a better house and whatever else, like, we're in. And so I made a lot of sacrifices. I sacrificed a lot of time away from the kids. I made a lot of sacrifices to spend more time with the team and the people that were joining our business. Do I regret it? No. Not for one single minute, because if not, we would have still been existing. We would have still been, getting by. So I sacrificed a lot. Yeah, I did. Most
for a
people are
short
not
amount of
willing.
time in your life to get that freedom.
Yeah, and it's not like for 15 years and nobody saw me. It was like for a short period of time, I was completely healthily obsessed. There's nothing or no way, nothing is going to get in my way. Most people won't do that because either their spouse stops them. They're like, hey, darling, these dishes need washing. But I'm just like, you're talking to the wrong person. That is not going to interrupt my day. I'm being serious. Like, come home.
Talk to the hand.
Yeah, like, Caesar would come home and like, he's like, Jojo would be asleep in Naomi's bed. Like, and I'd be like, and your point is? Like, I'm managing all of this and I'm doing it all and I'm making it happen. And I'm being honest.
I think
like,
what's important is that, yeah. No, but it's about your mindset and how important this is to you and how important it is for you to succeed, right? So I think that when I first joined last year, I joined last November, and Easter came around, and my son, I have 3 kids, and my 3rd child, it was his first Easter hunt that was going to be, so that was like special, right? It's his first time he's going to go do an Easter hunt. But at the same time that our company came into Toronto, and I did a event, and they don't come often. So that was my sacrifice. And I decided to go to that event. I asked Brian to watch the kids and take them still to the Easter hunt. And I got pictures and videos. But I made that sacrifice because it's important for me to have that time in the, like, in the soon near future, to be able to spend that time with them. And I think that when your leaders and people that you work with see that type of sacrifice, then they're going to also invest in you as well. But if you're constantly coming up with excuses as to why you can't do it, then they're like, why am I putting all this effort into this person if they're not going to step up, you know what I mean, and make those sacrifices? Because how important is it really for them? Is it my dream for her or him, or is it their own dream, right?
Yeah, totally.
So it's important.
Yeah, I wouldn't even blink an eyelid about doing something like that. Like, that wouldn't even be a question for me. Like, if the company was in town and it was occasion like that, there's absolutely, without a doubt, I would be going. Yeah. Definitely. I would be going. I wouldn't even bat an eyelid, because that is events is one of the major things that is important for you, and it's one of the main things that is important in my business. There can be plenty Easters with the kids. There can be lots.
Definitely.
And and so some people will be like, oh my gosh, like, no, that's just the difference. And that's why I say that a lot of people won't make those sacrifices.
I once heard you say something about, like,
what someone else thinks.
Your sacrifice is if you're doing this for your kids, but you don't make the kids become your reason. I can remember. I once heard you say something like that.
Yeah. So a lot of people that get started in this business. So one of the great things that I ask people. So when a new distributor starts in the business, Melina's saying real talk. I'm going to give it real every time. I'm not going to sugarcoat this stuff. I'll tell you as it is. So for me, it's like, when a new person gets started, the first thing that we do is we sit down and we talk about, what do they want to achieve? What do you want to get out of this? Why do you want to do this? Well, I'd like to earn some extra money, but why? What is that going to help you achieve, create? And so it's really about getting what they want to get out of it. And once we do that, I mean, people will say all the time, well, I'd like to spend more time with my kids, for example, or I'd like to be able to take the kids on more holidays. And then the first thing that comes up, the first event or the first call, or, well, I can't come because I've got the kids. And so they let their reason become their excuse. And so, like, there's like, when I had Jojo, when I first had that success, my 3 years in, and I joined that company, and I was 8.5 months pregnant. I was getting up. You've been 8.5 months pregnant. You know what it's like. You get up every morning praying that baby comes today, because you can't even get up out of bed in the morning. And I joined the company 8.5 months pregnant. And I said, give me every day. I used to get up thinking, let the baby come today. And then after I signed up in the business, I was like, give me 2 weeks. You're not coming for 2 weeks. And so I made a plan that I would hit what would be equivalent of Pro 2 in our business. I'm like, I'm going to do that before this baby's born. So I did. And I hit that level in the morning. I had the baby in the afternoon. And 5 days later, I was in a launch party in Liverpool, Leah Park's, You can ask Rachel. She was like, "Is that Lisa Panton in your launch event?" I was 5 days later with the baby
I
in the
love
car
you.
seat, like chasing people away. Like, you know what women are like when they see a newborn baby? They're like, "Oh, I'm like, step away. He hasn't had his inoculations yet." and and literally like 5 days later, with the car seat and the baby with me doing a presentation, we launched her business. She got to be in a BMW and driving a car bonus at that point in that company within 6 months' time, because I got off my butt after 5 days of giving birth and got in her house and helped her. And
Wow.
I think my next event 2 weeks later was in Scotland. I drove to Scotland, which is 3.5, 4 hours
So one
away,
month
with the
baby.
baby in a car. Yeah, passing the baby around the front room while we're doing the presentation. Like, when I say within reason, nothing was gonna get in my way. Nothing. So yes,
Hard work.
I
That's
don't want to
it.
put
Hard
people
work.
off. I
Yep.
don't want to put people off, because you don't have to make those sacrifices. I had no other vision in my mind than a 6-figure income. Some people just want to earn an extra £300 a month, £500 a month, but that wasn't what was in my mind. I had a massive goal, and I was
Yeah.
going to achieve it no matter what. So it's not, you don't always have to make those sacrifices, but depending on what it is you want and how fast you want to do it, you better be real that there's going to be some sacrifices. You know, whether it's watching TV, whether it's having a conversation with your significant other and your children about what you're going to be doing and why, and what you guys get from it. You know, and I found that telling my
Yes.
kids that I'm going to spend this time because I'm going to achieve that held me accountable to make it happen, because I told them that I was going to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. It's incredible. I love listening to you. You're such a motivational, like, just person. I love your energy, your excitement, and we're really lucky to honestly have you as our leader, honestly. And for you to
That
spend this
sounds so
time, I
crazy.
really appreciate it.
Well,
What?
I feel
What?
lucky to
Does it still shock
to have
you?
you as our leader. Sounds a little like, woo. but
Like this, she,
but
you like were up on that stage last convention getting your big award, your check. Like it was just amazing. We were so proud and yeah, like and it still stuns you when we say that.
so
You've
crazy.
achieved an amazing thing. It is. It's
I'm
and
just a regular girl from Yorkshire in the UK. Like, you've no idea. There's nothing special about me. What I've achieved, anybody can go out and achieve. But I just want to say that I'm incredibly lucky to have you guys over there in Canada doing what you do and building your business with you and Melina and Karen and Elena and Alexa and all you other guys that are out
Kathy.
there.
Yeah.
Kathy, you know, I feel forever blessed that you guys are here. You know, I feel incredibly privileged that I get to work with you guys. And I'm hoping to come out to Canada later this year so we can really pour some fuel on the fire over there, and let's tear up Ontario, Canada, and that
Definitely.
East Canadian coast, because there's a lot of opportunity. Um, you know, if you're somebody watching this and you're ambitious, you're motivated, you're looking for more out of life, then get in touch with Parissa, because we're creating some incredible stuff out that way, and we're looking for people just like you. So get in touch.
For sure.
And
Thank you.
look at
Definitely.
you've like joined this business. You've never been in network marketing before, right?
No, this is my first time
You
ever.
went to
Yes.
Pro 4 in your first, what, 8 months of getting started?
8, 9 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, gosh, like it took, even in 3 years, I hadn't achieved that, Parissa. In 3 years, I hadn't got that far. I hadn't even made $120 and enrolled one person in my first 18 months. So like,
Yeah.
you're crushing my initial
Thank
results
you so
already.
much.
So keep doing
I'm
what you're
telling you, it's the
doing.
leadership.
Be real, share with your heart, show people the incredible simple system that we have to follow, and go out and make it happen, because you have everything in you and available to you for amazing things.
definitely. I have my goals right here, my vision board right here, they're where I want to be, and I stare at it every day. So I'm
Do it,
excited
do
for
it, do
sure.
it. All right, y'all.
Definitely. Thank
Well,
you
thanks for
so
having me
much.
on. I hope it was a little bit of value for someone,
It
and that
was
we touched somebody's heart or inspired somebody to do something or create something different for themselves. So
yes,
thanks y'all for having me.
for sure. Yeah, take the leap and just see kind of where it takes you. I did. I never had done this before, and I'm absolutely loving it in every way. So, and the amazing friendships and people that you connect with, all positive people, like just brings you up. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm just so blessed. I feel so blessed. So, thank
Right?
you. Have a great evening, and go spend some time with your kiddos. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Are they
Talk
still
soon.
awake?
See you guys.
Bye. Talk to you soon.
Bye.